Ambassador Quix-Nine pressed all four of his sensory palms against the observation window, watching the blue marble rotate below. His translator implant buzzed with barely contained panic. "You cannot be serious," he said, his voice cracking across 3 harmonic frequencies. The human liaison, a woman named Victoria Park, smiled. That predator smile. The one that made Quix's survival instincts scream at him to flee back to the Galactic Council chamber and hide under his diplomatic papers. "Oh, we are completely serious," Victoria said, adjusting her glasses. "You asked for enhanced warriors. We are sending you people. Regular people." Quix-Nine's skin shifted through 7 colors of distress. Purple, orange, a sickly green that indicated he might vomit his breakfast algae paste all over the pristine white floor of the orbital station. "But the requirements," he sputtered. "The enemy force approaching Sector 7 is comprised of Vorthan shock troops. Each one stands 3 meters tall. They have exoskeletons that can withstand plasma fire. Their battle rage lasts for 72 hours straight." Victoria poured herself coffee. The bitter scent made Quix's sensory palms recoil. "How did humans drink poison for pleasure?" "Sounds rough," she said, taking a sip. "Rough? Rough." Quix's voice went up an octave. "The Council analyzed your species for months. We detected no biological enhancements. No genetic modifications. Your bone density is laughable compared to Kragian battle forms. Your muscle fiber composition is inferior to even the Maluvian worker drones. You do not even have natural armor plating." "True," Victoria agreed, completely unbothered. "Then why?" Quix said slowly. "Why would you volunteer your species for the frontline defense contract?" Victoria set down her coffee mug. The smile never left her face. "Because you are paying 4 billion credits. And because the Vorthans are threatening to push into civilian sectors if someone does not stop them. But you will die." Quix practically shrieked. "All of you. We requested enhanced warriors. Soldiers augmented beyond normal biological limits. We assumed Earth had secret programs, hidden facilities, something that explained your confident response to our recruitment message." Victoria laughed. Actually laughed. The sound made Quix want to curl into a defensive ball. "Oh, Ambassador," she said. "You really have not done your homework on humanity, have you? We did extensive research." Quix protested. "Your people are fragile. You break bones from simple falls. You cannot regrow limbs. You require constant hydration and regular feeding cycles. Your pain threshold is documented as average at best." "All correct. Then what are we missing?" Victoria walked over to her datapad and pulled up a file. "Let me tell you a story, Ambassador. About a man named Marcus Webb, born in Detroit, Michigan. Worked as a plumber for 30 years. Married. 3 kids. Completely ordinary human." Quix-Nine's palms twitched with impatience. "Last year," Victoria continued, "Marcus was on vacation in Colorado when an earthquake hit. A real bad one. Magnitude 7.4. Part of a mountain collapsed on the visitor center where his family was having lunch. Tragic." Quix mumbled, wondering where this was going. "Marcus spent 11 hours," Victoria said, her voice steady, "digging through rubble with his bare hands. He crushed 3 fingers, broke 4 ribs. His hands bled so much he should have passed out from blood loss. He did not stop. Not once. He pulled 17 people out of that collapsed building, including his own children." Quix-Nine's skin flickered with confused patterns. "That is admirable, but it does not explain combat effectiveness against Vorthan warriors." "No." Victoria pulled up another file. "Here is Janet Reeves, accountant from Boston. 5 foot 2 inches tall. Weighs maybe 50 kilos soaking wet. Got attacked by a black bear while hiking. She punched it in the nose so hard it ran away. That is..." Quix struggled for words. "That is not logical survival behavior. Logic has very little to do with humanity, Ambassador," Victoria said. "We sent your council our physical specifications because you asked for them. What we did not mention, because you did not ask, is what happens when you put humans under pressure. Which is, we do not break. We get angry." Quix-Nine felt his 3 hearts beginning to race. "You are telling me," he said carefully, "that your combat effectiveness relies on emotional responses?" "Spite," Victoria corrected. "Stubbornness. A fundamental refusal to accept that we should lose just because something is bigger or stronger or more dangerous than we are." Quix-Nine felt like his brain was leaking out through his auditory sensors. Nothing Victoria was saying made sense according to any known military doctrine in the 17 civilized systems. You are describing trauma survivors and people with concerning psychological profiles, he said weakly. Not elite warriors. We are describing humans, Victoria corrected. And here's the thing you really need to understand, Ambassador. Those stories I told you, those are not exceptional. That is just Tuesday for us. She pulled up more files, and Quix-Nine's palms started sweating that clear mucus that indicated extreme stress. During your research, did you happen to look up our extreme sports? Victoria asked innocently. Your what? Activities we do for fun, she clarified. We have something called free climbing, where people scale vertical rock faces hundreds of meters high without any safety equipment. We have base jumping where we throw ourselves off cliffs and mountains wearing fabric wings. We invented a sport called rugby where the entire point is to run full speed into other humans while fighting over a ball. That sounds like mental illness. We call it Saturday, Victoria said. Oh, and we box. That is where two humans get into a ring and just punch each other in the face repeatedly until one of them cannot stand up anymore. We sell tickets to watch this. It is entertainment. Quix-Nine made a noise like a dying water filter. Then there is marathon running. Victoria continued, clearly enjoying herself now, where we run 42 kilometers just to prove we can. Some humans do ultramarathons. Those are races that last for days. Through deserts. Over mountains. We have people who swim in water cold enough to cause hypothermia within minutes. We have competitions to see who can hold their breath underwater the longest. We literally invented ways to almost die because regular life was too boring. Your species is suicidal. No, Ambassador, Victoria said seriously. We are just really, really hard to kill, and we get bored easily. There is a difference. She pulled up a medical file that made Quix-Nine's 3 hearts skip several beats. Let me tell you about human physiology under stress conditions. When we are threatened, our bodies flood with chemicals called adrenaline and cortisol. These temporarily increase our strength, speed, and pain tolerance. We have documented cases of human parents lifting vehicles off their children. Vehicles that weigh over 1,000 kilograms. That is biologically impossible. For you, maybe, Victoria said. For us, it is Tuesday. Again, we have had soldiers continue fighting with injuries that should have killed them. Limbs blown off, still firing weapons. Massive blood loss, still dragging wounded comrades to safety. We have a condition called shock that lets us ignore catastrophic damage long enough to finish whatever task we decided was important. Quix-Nine's skin had gone completely gray, the color of existential dread. But more importantly, Victoria said, we have this thing called pattern recognition and adaptation. You said the Vorthans have plasma-resistant exoskeletons. Yes, they are nearly impervious to standard energy weapons. Nearly, Victoria repeated. That word is doing a lot of work there. We have been analyzing the combat footage your council provided. Took our tactical teams about 6 hours to identify 17 different weak points in Vorthan armor. Joint connections, neck seals, visual sensors. Their design is optimized for frontal assault, which means their rear plating is thinner. She pulled up tactical diagrams that looked disturbingly detailed. We have also noticed that Vorthans rely heavily on intimidation tactics. Roaring, charging, trying to scare their opponents into breaking formation. That works great against species who have logical fear responses. Against humans. She laughed. Ambassador, we invented something called horror movies where we pay money to be scared on purpose. Fear is practically a recreational drug for us. This cannot be real. Quix-Nine whispered. You are exaggerating. Am I? Victoria asked. She pulled up a historical database. During our 20th century, we had a global conflict called World War II. 70 million humans died. The planet was literally on fire. Cities were being bombed into rubble. And you know what we did? We kept fighting. For 6 years. Both sides pushed past every logical stopping point because surrender was simply not acceptable. She scrolled through images that made Quix-Nine want to vomit. We fought in deserts where temperatures exceeded 50 degrees. We fought in Arctic conditions at -40 degrees. We fought in jungles filled with diseases. We fought in mountains at altitudes where other species would pass out from oxygen deprivation. We invented increasingly horrible ways to kill each other. And when those did not work, we invented worse ones. Your species is monstrous, Quix-Nine breathed. No, Victoria said quietly. We are protective. There is a difference. Everything I just described, that happens when you threaten something we care about. You wanted enhanced warriors, Ambassador. You wanted soldiers who could face impossible odds and still fight. She gestured toward the planet below. We are sending you 8 billion reasons why humanity survived when we should have gone extinct a dozen times over. We are sending you people who think pain is temporary and spite is eternal. We are sending you the descendants of primates who looked at every predator, every disaster, every impossible situation and said, watch this. Quix-Nine made a sound like air escaping from a punctured bladder, which, given his respiratory system, was basically what was happening. You are betting the lives of an entire colony sector on human stubbornness? He wheezed. Victoria shrugged, a gesture that Quix had learned meant either complete indifference or supreme confidence. With humans, it was impossible to tell which. We are betting on 8 billion years of evolutionary spite, she said. See, Ambassador, every single species in the Galactic Council evolved on planets that were relatively hospitable. Your homeworld? Average temperature 22 degrees Celsius. Breathable atmosphere. Plenty of water. Natural predators that your ancestors could easily avoid by climbing trees. Your point being, Earth tried to kill us, Victoria said flatly. Every single day for 300,000 years, our planet tried to murder us. Ice ages that lasted millennia. Droughts that turned continents into deserts. Volcanoes. Earthquakes. Floods. Predators that could run faster, bite harder, and see better in the dark than we ever could. She walked over to the window, staring down at the blue planet below. We had no natural weapons, Ambassador. No claws. No fangs. No venom. No armor. No speed. We were slow, weak, and completely inadequate for survival. Yet you survived. We did not just survive, Victoria said, turning back to face him. We won. We looked at every single creature that was bigger and stronger and faster than us, and we said no. We are going to be the apex predator. Not because we are built for it, but because we refuse to accept any other outcome. Quix-Nine's translator implant struggled with the emotional intensity in her voice. How? He asked quietly. Endurance, Victoria said. We cannot run fast, but we can run forever. We hunted prey by just following them until they collapsed from exhaustion. We cannot survive extreme cold, so we killed animals and wore their skins. We cannot digest certain plants, so we learned to burn them with fire until we could. Every single obstacle, we found a way around it through sheer bloody-minded refusal to quit. But the Vorthans, Quix started, have never faced anything like us, Victoria finished. They are used to fighting species that follow logical combat doctrine. They expect enemies to retreat when outnumbered. They expect surrender when victory seems impossible. They expect fear to be a weapon. She smiled again, and Quix-Nine felt his survival instincts screaming at maximum volume. Humans do not work that way, Ambassador. Fear makes us dangerous. When you corner a human, when you hurt someone they care about, when you threaten something they have decided to protect, that is when we stop being soft little mammals and become the thing that every predator species in our planet's history learned to avoid. This is insane, Quix muttered. Probably, Victoria agreed cheerfully. Let me tell you about the soldiers we are sending. Take Private Luis Moreno. Used to be a kindergarten teacher. Taught 5-year-olds how to read and tie their shoes. Sweet guy. Volunteers at animal shelters on weekends. That does not sound like warrior material. Luis found out his little sister was killed by a drunk driver 3 years ago, Victoria continued. The man who did it fled the country to avoid prosecution. Luis tracked him down across 4 continents, learned 3 languages, and finally found him hiding in a remote village in Peru. He dragged that man back to face justice, walking through jungle that killed 2 professional guides, surviving on insects and rainwater for 11 days. Quix-Nine's palms were turning white with stress. When we asked Luis why he volunteered for this deployment, you know what he said? Victoria asked. He said he heard the Vorthans were targeting refugee colonies, places where families were trying to start over. He said that reminded him of his sister, and he decided that nobody else was going to lose family on his watch. One motivated soldier does not constitute an effective fighting force. We have 8,000 just like him on the transport ships heading to Sector 7 right now, Victoria said. Every single one of them volunteered. Every single one of them was told the odds. And every single one of them signed up anyway, because apparently we hate being told that something is impossible. She pulled up a holographic display showing troop deployments. We are also sending Dr. Yuki Tanaka, who used to be a marine biologist before she decided she wanted to punch aliens in the face. Corporal James Mitchell, who survived being buried alive for 3 days after a building collapse, and now has absolutely zero fear of enclosed spaces. Lieutenant Patricia Owens, who holds the record for most consecutive hours spent in combat simulation without sleep. 47 hours, if you are curious. The silence in the observation deck stretched for exactly 17 seconds. Quix-Nine knew because his panic response had activated his internal chronometer, the one that usually only triggered when his ship was actively exploding. When do they arrive? He finally asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Transport ships hit Sector 7 in 48 hours, Victoria said, checking her datapad. We sent advanced scouts 3 days ago. They have already been gathering intelligence on Vorthan patrol patterns. 3 days. Quix-Nine's palms flared bright orange. The Council only approved the contract 5 days ago. You sent humans into enemy territory before we even finalized the agreement. Victoria's expression did not change. We do not wait for permission to do the right thing, Ambassador. The moment we heard civilians were in danger, we moved. The contract just determines whether you pay us or we do it for free. Quix-Nine felt something fundamental shift in his understanding of this species. They were not just aggressive or stubborn. They were something far more terrifying. They were ideological. Your advanced scouts, he said carefully. How many did you send? 4. 4? Against a Vorthan occupation force of 12,000. Sergeant Rita Gonzalez, Corporal David Park, Private First Class Amy Thompson, and Specialist John Kim, Victoria listed off. Rita used to be a forest ranger. Spent 15 years tracking poachers through wilderness. David was a competitive chess player before he enlisted. Amy grew up in Alaska, been handling firearms since she was 8 years old. John was a software engineer who decided sitting at a desk was boring. She pulled up a tactical map that made Quix-Nine's organs try to flee his body independently. In 3 days, those 4 humans have disabled 17 Vorthan supply depots, eliminated 4 command posts, and created enough confusion that the Vorthan general thinks he is facing a force of at least 500 soldiers, Victoria said with obvious pride. They have been using guerrilla tactics. Hit and run. Psychological warfare. Rita left a note on one command post that said this is just the beginning. Sleep tight. The Vorthans are apparently not sleeping tight. How are they surviving? Spite, mostly, Victoria said. Also really good camouflage training and an impressive amount of explosives. John apparently rigged 12 different booby traps using Vorthan equipment. Turned their own minds against them. Rita says it is hilarious watching 3-meter-tall warrior aliens jump at shadows. Quix-Nine sat down heavily, his legs refusing to support him anymore. The main force arriving in 48 hours, he said. What are their orders? Protect the civilian populations. Push the Vorthans back across the sector border. Minimize collateral damage. Standard peacekeeping operations, Victoria said. Then her smile turned sharp. Unless the Vorthans harm civilians. Then the orders changed to demonstrate why humanity is not to be messed with. Demonstrate how. We have a saying on Earth, Ambassador. Do not mistake our kindness for weakness. We are capable of extraordinary compassion. We will die to protect strangers. We will give our last food to hungry children. We will sacrifice everything for people we have never met because we believe it is the right thing to do. She leaned forward, and Quix-Nine saw something ancient and terrifying in her eyes. But if you hurt someone we are protecting, if you cross that line, then you find out why humans are the only species on Earth that hunted predators for sport. Why we looked at animals that could kill us with a single bite and decided we wanted them as pets. Why every nightmare creature in our mythology is just a Tuesday afternoon compared to what we are capable of becoming when properly motivated. You are trying to scare me, Quix-Nine said. No, Victoria replied. I am trying to prepare you. Because when your council sees what happens when 8,000 motivated humans hit that Vorthan occupation force, you are going to have questions. Lots of questions. Like why are the Vorthans retreating? Why are they requesting backup? Why are they suddenly very interested in negotiating a peaceful withdrawal? She stood up, finished her coffee, and walked toward the door. The council wanted enhanced warriors, Ambassador. You wanted super soldiers, genetic modifications, biological augmentation, secret programs, she said. What you are getting is something much simpler and infinitely more dangerous. You are getting humans who woke up this morning, kissed their families goodbye, and decided that today was a good day to make sure some aliens learn an important lesson about messing with civilians. What lesson? Quix-Nine asked weakly. Victoria paused at the door, looking back over her shoulder. That humanity does not need enhancement, she said. We are already terrifying exactly as we are. We just usually choose to be nice about it. Usually. The door closed behind her, leaving Quix-Nine alone with his 3 racing hearts and the growing certainty that the Galactic Council had made either the best decision or the worst mistake in recorded history. He looked down at Earth, that deceptively peaceful blue marble, and wondered how such a beautiful planet had produced a species that considered fighting impossible odds to be a recreational activity. His datapad chimed with an incoming message from Sector 7. He opened it with trembling palms. The message was short. 3 words from the Vorthan commander. What are they? Quix-Nine typed his response slowly, each word feeling like a confession. They are humans. All 8 billion of them. May whatever gods you believe in have mercy on your exoskeletons, because humanity certainly will not. He pressed send and wondered if the council had insurance that covered unleashing humanity on an unsuspecting galaxy. Probably not. Nobody could have predicted this. So what did you think? Did this story surprise you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this sci-fi story, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. And don't forget to subscribe for more mind-blowing science fiction stories every week. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.